We're going to find out whether or not he's tapping us along or not. And if he is, we'll respond a little bit differently, but it'll take about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
President Trump signaled today that his patience with Vladimir Putin is running thin, and a decision about how to deal with Russia's handling of Ukraine peace talks could come in 2 weeks. The nightcap is still here. All right, Max, walk us through your take on this, because we're not currently doing anything to help Ukraine. So that's the biggest hookup to Putin right there.
Sure. Yeah, he negotiated in reverse here. Right?
What is a negotiation in reverse? Nothing.
Like he stopped any and all military weapons transfers to the Ukrainian military, stopped intelligence sharing, stopped targeting support and assistance, alienated the Ukrainian leadership, publicly embarrassed them, and then turned around and thought that he then had leverage with Vladimir Putin. It made zero sense. So what did Putin do? Well, like the ex-KGB agent he is, he sought to try to stroke Donald's ego and at the same hand push a military offensive. And what you see with Donald Trump standing there is he's almost utterly confused because he was rendered ineffective and he looks helpless on the national stage. And that's not just politically embarrassing, but it's also horrible for the United States of America because we all look weak. That's the commander-in-chief of the United States military who's standing up there saying, well, just give me a week or two and I'm going to push this guy along, as if he's going to call him and yell at him. It's an utter disgrace. And for the good of the country, we hope he gets a better strategy here.
He doesn't need to call him and yell at him. He's got Steve Witkoff to head over there and talk to him.
His real estate buddy.
Correct. What is going to actually move Putin? Because right now, I mean, even if Donald Trump is threatening, hey, I may impose sanctions, he didn't even impose tariffs on Russia, right? He imposed tariffs on on parts of the world that didn't even have humans inhabiting it, right? Parts of the world that only had penguins. And we didn't impose tariffs on Russia. So why should we think sanctions are coming anytime soon?
No, I don't think we should. And I think when you look at that, what he said, I think the most important part of it is he said his famous 2 weeks. And we know from Trump 1.0 that 2 weeks can mean any number of things.
2 weeks is like many people.
Yes.
What's your take on this?
Look, he said, we'll see if he's tapping us along. He is being tapped along. I mean, this was a promise that President Trump made. I'm going to solve this in my first day in office. I'm just going to take a day. We're going to figure out this crisis. We've seen over and over again his overtures and efforts backfire. There was that weird meeting in Turkey where maybe President Trump was going to show up and suddenly each delegation went to the wrong city and nothing happened. And I think that President Zelensky has played this pretty well. What he's saying over and over again is he's ready to talk if President Trump's there and President Putin's there. It hasn't happened. So he's goading this into happening, showing that he's now willing to be party to these talks whenever they happen. What's going to change the circumstances here? I think it's just the peak that the president has, the fact that he's going to be publicly humiliated, as this is, where he's been unable to get these parties to the table in the way that he said he'd be able to.
Well, today Germany said they are going to increase funding and production of weapons for Ukraine. Will that be enough to help?
Well, it certainly doesn't hurt. And you can't underestimate just the extraordinary bravery and ingenuity being displayed by the Ukrainian military and the Ukrainian people each and every day. But let's make no bones about it here. The Russian military is winning. They are pushing further into Ukraine each and every day. And that's awfully scary. Politically speaking, if this fails and the Russian military takes Ukraine, that is equivalent politically to what happened in Afghanistan to the Democrats. And soon enough, I pray to God soon enough, Donald Trump realizes that. You already see Republican senators coming out and breaking with Trump and calling for enhanced sanctions. Tomorrow, the next week, they will call for increased weapon transfers to the Ukrainian military. We will finally see that the Republican Party, fingers crossed, are not fully owned subsidiaries of crazy MAGA and crazy DJT, as Howard Lutnick likes to call him, and they'll actually do the right thing.
Before we go then, Trump said, I want to get it right, if it wasn't for him, quote, lots of really bad things would have already happened to Russia. And Putin's predecessor responded by warning with the possibility of World War III. How unstable is this situation? Because the truth is, most people aren't paying attention to it.
Look, this, I think, is the scariest thing happening right now on the global stage.